The way you walk, the way you move.
I'm levitating. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo. I'm levitating. We're renegading.
All right, I am Zoe. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at The Dreaded Trainer. I'm here with Lindsay and Dana from One Love Pitbull Foundation. I'm going to let them introduce themselves first and kind of the mission behind the foundation.
Thank you. I am Lindsay Blazevich, founder and CEO of One Love Pitbull Foundation. We were founded in 2014 to assist pitbull type dogs who are at risk or longtime residents in the shelters.
I am Dana Klose. I am the CFO of One Love Pitbull Foundation, and this is Miss Chelsea.
So,
Gonna get to know her a little better too.
Of course, Chelsea may have some feedback as well, but she's a pretty vocal girl. So my first question for you guys is, obviously there's some people that think, Pitbull is an umbrella term, but if you could tell us and the audience kind of what defines a Pitbull as a breed.
Right. So Pitbull isn't a breed. It was initially a nickname for American Pitbull Terriers. Now it's just a word that's used. It's a label that's given to dogs that essentially describes certain visual markers like a muscular build or a blocky head.
Okay, so that's what you find a lot of, I guess, like staffies as well, coming into the shelter because they kind of fit that stereotype of the big blocky head and the muscular body type.
Yeah, they all get that label. I mean, what their actual breed or breeds are is like our best guess because everyone's just kind of using, like I said, visual markers to guess what kind of breed they would be. But
all right. When I was perusing your page, I saw that you guys did like classes. Is that right, for like newly adopted dogs? Which I love, but can you guys like kind of go into that and like what someone could expect if they were to take a class?
Right. Do you want to?
Sure. Wasn't expected though. That's okay. So we offer mutt manners training classes. We do it with current dogs that we're working with that are currently living at the shelter, and then also dogs that are in foster care with us. And then we also do 2 recently adopted dogs. We pretty much offer it at this point to anyone who connects with us that needs it, as long as we have the available space. We do it most Sundays. We offer 2 classes right now to adopters, and they come, and it's a group setting. So there's generally 4 to 5 dogs in each class. They don't have any actual meeting contact, but our trainer goes and individualizes kind of what their needs are. We also get some questionnaires filled out prior to class, so we kind of know what to expect. They watch a video before they come as well. And it just kind of sets everybody up for success. They go home with homework, come back, hopefully did the homework. If we need to follow up, our trainer is awesome. She really, really does a very good job at following up. We also do offer it to fosters, Maricopa County controlled fosters now too. So we offer those once a month, and they're held at the West Valley location. So fosters that are currently fostering dogs from the shelter can actually come and take a class themselves too, to kind of help with the engagement or any opportunities that they have found with the dog in their home.
So this is for potential adopters matching up with their potential adoptee and doing that training?
Or just the fosters that are just fostering the dog until they find their home. But then it gives us a lot of really valuable information to even pass along to adopters, because we find out a lot about the dogs while they're in the home and while taking classes.
Yeah, so what kind of benefits have you seen on the dogs' ends, like after the classes occur?
Well, so I mean, adopters, I think it's just really because there's a slew of different opportunities that they have. I mean, honestly, the best benefit we've found mostly is the dogs that are currently in the shelter system. I mean, it's a great opportunity for them to use their brains and come back a little bit enriched and calm, and like just them getting out of the environment and kind of just getting to have some really great interaction with people, also get some really good mental stimulation, and also kind of, work on their skills, kind of see how do they react to other dogs in the classes? How are they reacting to different handlers? So, I mean, it's definitely, we just learn so much about them in these classes that it's really great for us to be able to pass along to adopters as well, because we're like, hey, this dog presents this awesome, they're great at all these tricks, or they really did well acclimating in a room with other people and dogs, and just so it really, really helps us have a lot of information about them. So,
that is
do you have anything that I miss?
No, yeah. So we started these classes, you know, to benefit the dogs that were sponsored in the shelter dog program. So that's just an immediate need that we saw with some of these dogs who'd been sitting here for a really long time. Maybe they needed something extra. So maybe they were jumping up in their kennel too much, or when they came out into the yard with somebody, they either didn't know how to interact with that person, or they were maybe jumping up on the person and just doing things that maybe would deter a potential adopter.
Sure.
So we said, you know, we want to help the longtime residents. We want to give them kind of what they need to become adoptable and to be their best self when they meet a potential adopter. So that's kind of how the classes were born, because we said we want to set these dogs up for success and get them to the point where they present, you know, like I said, as their best selves. And so it started there, and then, you know, in order to keep the dogs in their homes, we offer it to new adopters. So when they adopt one of these dogs, they also get to come to class, work on that bond, work on some basic life skills, and hopefully we're just there to support and make sure that they have what they need to have a successful adoption.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, as a resident here, can you guys kind of give us Chelsea's background and her profile?
Oh, little Chelsea.
Yeah, so she has been here since the beginning of August.
Okay.
So 2.5 months. She's 8 years old. We are not sure really, you know, about her breed other than she's part pig.
She does. She likes the little snorties.
Yeah, we had her. She is. We had her on a hike this morning. We did a hike with a bunch of adoptable dogs at Papago.
Okay. Yeah.
And she did so well. I mean, she walked well on the leash. She didn't react to other dogs passing by. She was just a real dream. She loved riding in the car. She actually didn't want to get out of the car.
Oh, wow.
It was a whole thing trying to lure her out of the car when we got back here.
Took hot dogs.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. And the hot dogs didn't work.
No, she did. She jumped out of the car for a hot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she actually jumped in my trunk when I was getting her bandana out of it. She jumped in. She's like, "We're going again? Where are we going?"
Now that's a dream dog right there. I don't know.
She's great.
Getting her in and out.
I mean, yeah, she's just wonderful. So, you know, a lot of times it's really overwhelming to walk through these wings, and a lot of dogs get overlooked simply because I think people get, you know, they just get overwhelmed and they don't know how to find out information or, you know, about a dog, and so they just shine so much better when they're out of their kennel. So hopefully this exposure will reach maybe a potential adopter.
Heck yeah. So do we know like Chelsea's story before she got to the shelter?
No, she came in as a stray, so that's pretty much what we know.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah, she came in as a stray.
She was just patrolling the streets.
Yep.
Okay. So from like day one to now, kind of tell us what behavioral progress you've seen from Chelsea.
I mean, she's one of the dogs, like we have examples of dogs that kennel really well and can kind of don't lose their spirit and just kind of really present themselves well. She's one that's like pretty chill. Like she's really pretty calm in her kennel. She's great out of her kennel, but she definitely just kind of sits there and just wants someone to notice her. Like she's really just pretty calm. She's a dog. She actually just recently came over from the West shelter. She was actually in one of the quarantine wings over there because they had some health issues, so they were not letting all dogs intermingle in the population. So she just recently got over here. So we just started working with her this month. So she spent her first month, unfortunately, in a quarantine wing, but she's now out. She's on the loose and ready for someone to come meet her.
Oh goodness, do you have something to say about it? Yep. Okay.
That's where the part pig comes from.
That was a great response, actually.
She just wanted to add her own little bit at the end right there.
A little bit.
So what's kind of the story behind One Love Pitbull Foundation? What drove you guys to start it in the first place?
Right. So, and that is a real long, loaded question. But so I will tell you, I'll try to shorten it, I guess. So I started in animal welfare in 2008, and I started volunteering at a local no-kill shelter. Okay. Because I was like, I want to volunteer at a no-kill shelter. Yeah. I started volunteering there. I met my first Pitbull. Actually, I had never even really met a Pitbull that I remember before then. And obviously, I fell in love, and I was like, gosh, they're so amazing. And then I learned that shelter pulled dogs that were on the euthanasia list here at the Maricopa County Animal Care and Control. And I mean, the overpopulation was a lot worse back then than it is now, but I had never been here, and I came here and just saw the need, and it was overwhelming. And back then, there was just a couple Pitbull groups in town, and just such an overwhelming need. Yeah. So that's kind of how I got started in my journey. I started, rescuing. I started doing spay-neuter, and just kind of whatever I could to help. You know, we like to think outside of the box and try to think of like new, innovative, and creative ways to help these dogs and help them get adopted quicker and help as many dogs as possible. So by, you know, utilizing our shelter dog program, we're able to sponsor, you know, maybe up to like 100 dogs a year versus if we were a traditional rescue, we would help 20.
Okay, yeah.
You know, because once they go into foster, they take a while to get adopted, and so we can just help so many more dogs this way, and we've had a lot of success with it. So it's just
So what other shelters do you guys kind of touch on in Maricopa? Because right now we're in Mesa, so, and of course there's other shelters around. So what kind of you know, what other shelters do you guys touch on, or is this your primary spot to be?
Yeah, so our main focus for the shelter dog program is Maricopa County Animal Care and Control, and they have 2 locations. So they have this location, then they have location in Phoenix.
Okay.
So we assist with dogs and needs at both of those locations.
Okay.
So
tell us about what the sponsorship really is. Like, what does it mean for a dog to be sponsored in the shelter?
Yeah, so I mean, that's just getting our support pretty much for life. I mean, we are here for these dogs, whatever they need in the shelter. So like Miss Chelsea here, she's got a little something on her eye that we just noticed today. So we're going to get her into the vet. We're going to make sure that she gets medical treatment for whatever she needs. We're going to take her to training class. We're going to promote her for adoption. And then we're going to we always try to stay in touch with our adopters. We're going to invite them to training class, and we're just going to be there to support them for whatever they need to make sure that she's doing well and happy and successful in her home.
So you guys kind of go beyond just getting the adopted process, and you go into, you know, what life is like in the home after
Post-adoption support, absolutely.
Yeah, the long game.
Yep.
So what is that? What does the post-adoption support kind of look like?
That's a little bit of everything. Yeah, sometimes you know, the dog is maybe chewed something in the home, or you know, and maybe the adopter has limited means, so we will send them a crate.
Okay.
And then we'll talk to them about crate training, and we'll say, you know what, like this might. So we're here to offer solutions, essentially. So whether it's crate, whether it's providing enrichment, medical support. We've had certain dogs come down with or already have medical conditions. So if the owners need help with medication or anything like that, like we provide that. So we're just trying to give them whatever they need to make sure they stay in the home. So yeah, medical.
We kind of do like what we call like love for life. Like some dogs that are like on medication for life, like if it's a make or a break type of situation where they might not be able to afford that, but they can provide everything else to the dog, like we will make sure that medication or additional care is needed, that we'll make sure that happens for that dog, but then they can live in a home and live a great life.
Yeah, so. I love that. On you guys' Instagram, there is a fundraiser that honestly, from a couple days ago when I looked at it to now, has actually gained a lot more traction. But can you tell us kind of about that fundraiser, what's going on, how we can help, and the story behind it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, Miss Julep. So, kind of a little evolution of. So we have the shelter dog program that's mostly for dogs we work with here at the shelter, and then we have what we call the VIP program, which is very important pitties. Those are dogs that generally. Kind of need a little bit extra than what the shelter can actually provide. So we have a couple dogs, Miss Julep being one of them, Weston's another one, medical care that is beyond the scope of what can actually be managed or treated at the shelter. And even recovering isn't going to be best suited here. So we have some dogs in foster, and then we have dogs at one of our partners, Heidi's Village. So it's kind of like the country club of boarding facilities, if you will. They have a full medical team on staff too, so it's wonderful to help with medical needs. Julep is a recent tripod. She actually came into the shelter with a lame back leg, and she was not using it. So they amputated it. You would never know this dog. I mean, she is very, very mobile and is super resilient. She also has a diamond eye that she has no vision in, so we're getting her to the eye doctor. And then she had a big lump on the side of her face that was unresolving. So sadly, with the current population at the shelter, she became at risk. So we were able to get her to Heidi's Village and get her treatment, and now we're going to get her adopted out of there. So we're raising funds for that program. Like Julep is kind of a prime example of that program. Obviously, we have to pay daily boarding costs for that, and then also her medical treatment. So our VIP program is just kind of an ongoing thing that we need funding for. So we just kind of, she's an easy one to really just kind of put out there and say, this is what our VIP program is. Like when you support our VIP program, you're supporting dogs like juleps. So that's kind of where that kind of stemmed from.
So where can we donate to the VIP program? Just click on that link on the Instagram page?
Yes, you certainly can. And then you actually can go onto our website and you can actually become a VIP monthly giving.
Okay.
So we call you, it's part of the VIP club, meaning that you can actually donate $10, $20, $50 monthly. And that really, all of that just goes into funding that program nonstop. Because I mean, it's a never ending thing.
Sure.
So it's it always needs money coming in for it. So we just created the VIP club, meaning that you can be in the best club there is, and you're a very important person for a very important pity.
I love it. So currently, are you guys looking for or accepting, any new volunteers or positions?
Yeah, we are always recruiting new volunteers. We need help with so many different things, and we're a volunteer-run organization.
Sure,
so. We need help with fundraisers and events. We need help with our shelter dogs, both here at Maricopa County and at Heidi's Village. And while we're on the topic of volunteers, Maricopa County desperately needs volunteers.
Yes.
So that's really like, if we're recruiting volunteers right now, like we're sending them their way. Because I mean, the shelter dogs, the West Shelter, I think it was 7 days. They were 7 days between walks at the West Shelter.
Oh, because they couldn't get everybody in and out.
Because there's so many dogs.
And just so many dogs and not enough people, So that's just a really big need there, is just getting more volunteers into Maricopa County so the dogs can get out of their kennels.
Yeah.
I mean, as often as, like, every day would be ideal, right?
Sure, yeah,
At least once a day. So, and we make a big push for our volunteers to come here and walk dogs. And so that's kind of part of our shelter dog program. It's sponsorship of the VIPs, it's walking, it's enrichment. There's just so many different areas of that program. But
So lastly, kind of what's next for One Love Pitbull Foundation? What do you guys
Great
have on the
question.
horizon?
No,
that you
great
feel like
question.
sharing? Great question.
yeah, so obviously the shelter dog program is, that's my baby, and we're continuing to grow and just be here to support the shelter.
It changes,
it's
it kind of
evolving.
changes based on the needs.
Yeah.
Constantly evolving. And it's based on their needs, because as the shelter evolves and changes, we're kind of adapting to that, and we're just here to say, where can we help? Where can we support to make, to help as many dogs as possible?
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of spay-neuter.
Awesome.
We're ramping that up, and
Community
that's
outreach,
the community service is really my favorite work. Like, I love being out in the community. I love, helping dog owners with just a variety of things. But we're out in underserved communities about once a month. We're providing free spay-neuter, medical if they need it.
Pools for pups?
Pools for pups, yeah.
Like swimming pools?
Huh?
Like swimming pools?
Yeah, like little play
kiddie
pools.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, so over the summer, because we go door to door and pass out flyers in what Maricopa County calls target zip codes, which is where most of the dogs are coming in from. So when a dog gets surrendered, they track where that dog came from. And the areas that have the most intakes, right, are the target zip codes. So we go door to door in these zip codes, then we pass out flyers. As we're doing this, we identify needs a lot of the times. So if dogs are chained up outside or outdoor only in the summer and there's not shade, you know what I mean, they're kind of in distress. So we offer solutions. So we will give them play pools to help keep the dogs cool, provide a clean source of drinking water.
We've done sale shades before, like the shade sales before too, to kind of give them
Like
a
the
space.
extension of the house kind of thing?
Yeah, shade sales,
and then beds to get them off the ground.
Yeah, to elevate them off the ground. So medical care if they need it. And we're also this winter looking into a program where we provide hay to the outdoor dogs to try to keep them warm. Because blankets in the winter get wet and soggy, and they don't really keep them warm. But hay, placed in a dog bed or even in the play pools that we already distributed, right, will give them kind of a warm place to nest when it gets really cold outside.
Okay. I know I said that was the last question, but super important question that kind of stemmed from that answer is, do you guys have a schedule of when you're going? Because I know you said once a month you go out to these underserved communities. Do you have a schedule of when and where you're going to be in the communities next?
Yeah, so we usually know like a few months in advance. So we have a couple upcoming clinics.
Okay.
We have a clinic coming up this Thursday. We actually were just out in downtown Chandler passing out flyers yesterday. So our clinic is in downtown Chandler on Thursday, and that's for we'll probably do about 35 to 40 owned pets on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then our next clinic after that is a clinic with our friends at Poverty's Pets, funded by Fix It Up Save. And that will be, we will have 2 buses December 22nd. 2
The
spay
mobile
neuter buses.
Yeah, the mobile
Oh,
buses.
the vet, like
yeah,
vet
the
buses.
mobile,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
the
vet
vet buses, yeah.
Yeah.
In Central Phoenix, and we'll probably do about 70 owned pets that day.
Awesome.
So it's kind of going to be a Christmas clinic. We're going to be giving the dogs stuffies and wearing our Santa hats, and it's going to be a good time.
Oh, and right now, just another little plug, we are doing blanket drive for Maricopa County Care and Control right now.
Okay.
If you go on to our Instagram, we do have our Amazon wish list, and it does have enrichment items and blankets. We can never get enough.
Oh,
like,
I'm giving
I
it
mean,
that.
every
I
single
love-
day, if we could bring enrichment, we would bring enrichment because we can never get enough. So blanket drive, enrichment drive, always
I'm
on.
doing it.
So
Oh, I'm doing it.
definitely.
That's
Sorry.
awesome.
We'll keep
No, that's
talking.
fantastic. I love that. Chelsea, anything you'd like to add?
You have anything you'd like to add, Miss?
What do you think?
Miss Piggy?
Here, you can
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Snort.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
If you would like to find us online, info at oneloveaz.org is our email, oneloveaz.org is our website, and Instagram, Facebook, we are One Love Arizona.
Right.
The way you walk, the way you move.
Awesome.
I'm levitating. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo. I'm levitating. We're renegading. Yeah, yeah.